The founder and president of Africa Today TV, Dr. Yaya Moussa, joins me to discuss an exciting new Africa Center channel by Africans for Africans. Please tell us first what it's all about. What is Africa Today TV?
It is about correcting misrepresentations, misperceptions about Africa in this country. We think that people should show Africa under a more positive light, in a more balanced way. So Africa Today TV started out of frustration, so to speak. We wanted to correct, rectify misperceptions and misrepresentations about our continent first. But on the positive side,
well, first, what are some of those misrepresentations, would you say? What are the things that you think people are not seeing and hearing correctly about Africa?
I used to characterize those misrepresentations by what I call the 5 Ds. Namely, when it comes to Africa, the way the continent is depicted is through 5 words: desperation, devastation, disease, death, and disorder. Bad news make news as far as Africa is concerned. But we also have great positive stories to tell. We have outstanding people to show. We have great achievements to show to Americans. And unfortunately, this has not always been the case. So as I said, the most urgent thing is to rectify misperceptions and misrepresentations. As you very well know, this has a bearing on the way important countries like America might treat Africa. In many instances, Africa is treated as a junior partner in international affairs. So our objective is to show, what I'm trying to say here is, we recognize that Africa is facing many challenges. No denial about that. But it is important to portray Africa in a more balanced way. Whereas you're talking about Africa's weaknesses and failings, it is also important to talk about Africa's creativity, achievements, expectations, hope, and successes. That's the whole point about Africa Today TV.
Yes, and certainly we want to get to some of those ideas that you have about that. But for people that don't know you or don't know some of your background, talk a little bit about, you're obviously a very well educated and internationally acclaimed businessman. But so how did you, when you sat down and you recognized that there was this problem with how Africa was being perceived over the media airwaves, what made you say, I'm the one that needs to bring more balance to this equation? What made you do that? What propelled you to do that?
Okay. First of all, I consider every single African living abroad as an ambassador of the continent. This is my approach. So my humble self, I see myself as an ambassador of Africa. Africa, people will see Africa through me based on my attitude and my deeds. That's the starting point. And secondly, I've started thinking about, beyond my current business practice, what to do to give back to the motherland. And one day, I ran across a gentleman by the name of Frederick Thomas, who happens to be the CEO of MSZ Networks. I'm sure you're familiar with MSZ Networks. This is the American company which brought to this country leading high-profile international TV channels, including Al Jazeera from Qatar, France 24 from France, Russia Today from Russia, China CCTV, and the likes. So I raised the following question to him. I say, where is Africa? You brought everybody to Washington except for Africa. And he jokingly told me, are you up to the challenge of bringing Africa to Washington? This is how it all started. I say, okay, this is the opportunity is knocking at my door. I'm not going to run away. I will take it. This is how it all started.
And how would you say, so surely others have tried, obviously, and there are other Africa-related TV or multimedia entities that attempt to do the same. What makes Africa Today TV unique and different?
This is a very important question. How do we differentiate ourselves from the existing TV channels? Let me stress 3 key features to really emphasize our uniqueness, so to speak. First of all, we are not an entertainment television. We would like to be an education TV channel. Our focus is public service. What we are trying to do is to educate Americans about Africa and later on educate Africans about America to foster mutual understanding. We would like to be the cultural bridge between America and Africa. So feature number 1 is educational public service Africa-focused TV channel. We are unique. Secondly, by design, we have decided to showcase Africa's success stories. Our slogan is broadcasting the continent's hope and success. We leave it to others to portray Africa on the negative traits. As far as we are concerned, we would like to showcase African success stories.
So give us some examples of some of those stories that you envision and that people will see and can expect to hear.
Okay. Perhaps by comparison, have you heard about 3 young tech entrepreneurs from Africa? One from Congo, the second one from Cameroon, the third one from Benin, who respectively made a smartphone, a tablet, medical tablet, and a medical robot specializing in brain surgery, totally under the radar. So those stories are not known. They are largely ignored by the international media. You are aware of the fact that Boko Haram in Nigeria and the abduction of girls has monopolized the air.
The coverage, it's all over the place.
This has totally eclipsed the fact that Nigeria has become the largest Africa economy over the past few months.
It's not just, I heard another guest, I interviewed another guest who said it's not just about, Africa's not just a humanitarian case.
Absolutely.
And that's the image, you want to present a different image of just that being the current image of Africa in some minds today.
What we need, somebody said it, trade, not aid. I think that should be the new motto. So coming back to my point, Nigeria is a case in point here. Boko Haram totally eclipsed what was the positive developments on the economic side. Likewise for South Africa, Marikana mining strikes and killings, Kandla compound for President Jacob Zuma, Oscar Pistorius trial, totally overshadowed important achievements by South Africa over the past 20 years since the end of the apartheid. So this is exactly what I mean when I say positives concerning Africa are largely neglected, whereas negatives have been stressed. 40 million Americans are of African descent, 12 to 13% of the population of this country. You have no colonial past as regards to the relationship with African countries. The point I'm trying to make here is we are collectively underachieving, when I say we, America and Africa, because we can do much more. We have common grounds, common interests, a lot to share.